Welcome back, all you Fabricants and Fleshbags, to the super, not funny show, Supercast. The Supercast, where we talk about all things superhero and the pop culture space. So that's TV, movies, video games. We do speculation news, all that fun stuff. I am Mo de Poupe, your resident fabricant and commenter extraordinaire on all things pop culture, joined by the anime expert, video game designer, and lover of all things superhero, my good friend Ladi. Lottie, what's going on, man?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Ready to talk about some of this stuff that's going on in the Marvel verse. What's going on in Eternals to see how we could have improved the movie.
That's right. Uh, Here on episode 34 of the Supercast, we're going to be talking about Eternals and, in particular, how it can go from frustration to fire, how we would improve Eternals. But first, of course, we're going to jump into our news. We always do a rundown of the news and give our commentary. And this week, we got some news about Miss Marvel reshoots. We're going to talk about Peacemaker as it makes its appearance on HBO Max. There's some Black Panther updates, big updates, in fact. The first picture of Leslie Grace as Batgirl hits the internet. As Spider-Verse universes are apparently going to have different art styles, and we'll contemplate that. And some kind of unsettling news about Robert Kirkman and Invincible. And it's kind of shady. So we're going to get all into that as we talk about the news. So, Lottie, you ready? Revving up, ready to go.
Yep.
So, Miss Marvel, I will say I've been more excited for that than any other MCU show coming to Disney Plus in this coming year. I've said it many times. She's like Peter Parker. Like that's the vibe. I think it's going to be a great show. Absolutely love the character, and I've just been like, just when are we going to get this? And we found out it's coming out in the summer of this year. But there was some I put this in quotes alarming news about so-called extensive reshoots that needed to be done on the show, and some of the toxic fandom, the fandom menace, the the ones that
Fandom,
the one
fandom menace.
that's what they call themselves. They're real douchebags, but the ones that want this to fail because they can't stand white dudes being not being at the front and center of every fucking thing. Anyway, those guys were like, "Oh, it's going to be a failure. It's a failure," and there's some alarm because of that. Well, you know what? Everyone, calm down. Apparently, it's only about a week's worth of reshoots, and they seem to be pretty regular reshoots as far because I don't know if you realize this, but not almost every single Marvel property has reshoots built into its shooting schedule and into its budget. So, like, literally every single one of them for pickups or for reworking things, all that sort of stuff. And according to insiders, it seems to be that these are pretty run of the mill reshoots as far as the thing is concerned. That said, Lottie, are you afraid that they're off track and somehow, some way, the MCU is going to deliver us a trash show?
No, I mean, why, this shouldn't even be in the discussion. I mean, they let's be honest. The worst show that they came out with the MCU has produced is probably one of the best TV shows of last year. So no, I'm not even. There's not even a drop of doubt in my mind. I mean, come on, man. It happens all the time. They always reshoot stuff. I mean, it's just not talked about. I mean, they even do it in the video game industry where they might rework a beginning of something. Because the things that are reworked the most in TV shows are the beginning and the end. Because sometimes the writer wants to change. Usually the middle always stays the same because that's just what's happening in the middle. But sometimes writers or directors might have a different vision. So it's nothing bad. You know what I mean? Who knows? The actress might have at the beginning when they were shooting probably has short hair towards the end. They're like, she has long hair. Oh, reshoot the beginning. There we go. The long
But
hair now.
but
You know what I
wait,
mean?
but Lottie, the neckbeards on the internet who live nowhere near Hollywood and don't know shit about how to actually film anything, they're saying that they're in a panic over at Marvel. Um, do you believe that Kevin Feige is in a panic about anything ever at all?
First, I do have to appreciate your utilization of the word neckbeard. I have to because this is perfect for the situation because this is definitely some neck bearded action right now. I mean, come on, man. What? There's nothing to worry about. If anybody who's listening to this and you're worried about Miss Marvel not coming out, come on, guys. There's nothing wrong. It happens all the time. You redo stuff all the time. Like I said, I'm somewhat of a writer myself, and I cannot tell you how many times I rewrote the beginning of my stories or whatever. I don't, like I said, the most changed. All writers, movie directors, everyone always says the most changed things in a book, movie, TV show, or anything is the beginning and the end. Because sometimes they show up and they're like, oh, I kind of want to change this up. It happens all the time, man. Like I said, it could have easily just happened when they got the actress. She had short hair when they started the movie. I mean, started the TV show, and at the end of the show, she has long hair, and they're like, "Well, we like her with long hair better. Reshoot the beginning of the first episode again."
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It just
yeah,
sometimes like stuff like that just happens.
yeah.
You know?
So, long story short, yeah, chill out. It's
Yeah.
this is Kevin Feige and the smooth criminals over at Marvel Studios. I think they know something about how to make shit. Just chill out a little bit, y'all.
Yeah.
Um, moving on. This last week, Peacemaker made its triumph. Can I call it that? Triumphant debut on HBO Max, and to I would say pretty much universal acclaim. I mean, I think Rotten Tomatoes it's like 90%. Uh, I've heard nothing but goodness. There's been a very few people like, nah, this sucks. Almost everybody loves it. That intro is just like viral around the internet, and there's just it just seems to be a huge win for not just HBO Max and not just for DC, which they really needed a fucking win, but also for James Gunn, a kind of a validation of his ability to create
Yeah.
and direct, and also kind of a repudiation of people who thought that the Suicide Squad was some kind of like failure or whatever. So
Weirdos.
yeah. So Lottie, we of course we reviewed it already and we loved it. What do you think about this the critical reaction and the audience reaction that you're seeing online? And also, how does this make you feel about the upcoming Guardians of the Galaxy, which is in production right now?
First of all, I do want to say that I'm happy that the internet came to their senses and realize that we are right and they should listen to us about when it comes to watching movies and TV shows. First of all, I'm proud of them, so I would love to give them a hand clap. Two, I wish Guardians of the Galaxy was rated M. I mean rated R. I wish Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was rated R because I want to see James Gunn, no holds bar, whatever he wants to just throw. I want to see a rated R Guardians of the Galaxy. But unfortunately, we're not going to get it. But hey, I'm excited with I just loved the James Gunn, like, whole, like, the ragtag team, the funniness, the goofiness, the zaniness. It's just gold. I just love it. Just love his directing style. And I'm not saying that DC should lock him down, but
They,
DC
I don't
needs to
think,
give that man a.
I don't think they can, but yeah, they could try.
But they do need to. But they can give him a fat check so he can start doing other stuff. Because I would love to see him do. I would love to see James Gunn do like a. Oh, I would love to peep this. I'm about to blow your mind.
Okay.
James Gunn's Teen Titans.
Uh, it would certainly be better than the Titans that they got going now, which isn't terrible. It's alright,
Yep.
but it would be better. He is working on something else, for another TV show for DC, for
Hmm.
HBO Max. Just he didn't say what it is. He just said he's working on it right now. So clearly, Walter Hamada, who's the head of the studio, and H and Warner are, they're on the gun train right now.
Hmm.
And we also know, like I said, he is also currently working on
Hmm.
Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and that the holiday special that's supposed to be coming out in this Christmas. So his dance card is quite full right now. Uh, but I think, I'm not surprised by the critical reaction to, because a lot of critics actually liked the Suicide Squad, but it wasn't as universally loved. I think it shows that, you know, James Gunn he's at the height of his powers right now. This guy he knows what the audience wants and what they need. He's got a pretty I think he's got a good vision for the DCU. Again, he said he doesn't want to be in charge of the studio, and I believe the man. He wants to create. So the smart money is keep giving this dude work. Keep giving this man work. I guarantee you, he's gonna make something that works for you. And I know you want to see an R-rated, uh, Guardians thing, but the fact that he's somewhat limited by the PG-13, that just actually for a real creator, limitations aren't, they're not barriers, they're opportunities, to really, you know, work their creative muscles. So that's why Guardians still worked, even if he wasn't able to throw f bombs around. So I'm hugely excited for Guard. I was already hugely excited for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. This is just like further, cementing in my mind that it's gonna be like epic. Especially because we got Adam Warlock coming, man. Come on, we got Adam Warlock coming. I
Oh,
that's
well,
that's plenty. You could stop right there, but seeing the way Peacemaker is just going ham right now, and also I understand. You remember we were talking about it in the review, Chikwudi Iwuji, that
hmm.
plays Mern. I've heard the rumor is he's going to be the High Evolutionary in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So we're
So,
basic,
so, so,
yeah.
so him and James Gunn they just follow each
But
other.
that's what James
It's-
Gunn does. When he gets his players that he likes, they show up. Michael Rooker has been in many James Gunn things. He's been in Slither, but everyone knows him as Yondu. Um, when James Gunn finds an actor that he clicks with, they start showing up in things. So I'm hella excited for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Cannot
Mhm.
wait to see that come to the screen. And just more of Peacemaker. Can't wait to see how that turns out. So, um, moving on, Black Panther. This is going to be a big little part of the news. So we got Black Panther 2 updates. So we know last time we checked, they were on holiday break, but it was an extended break because Letitia Wright had this bad injury from a stunt back, I think in August or so, and they had done months of shooting around it until they couldn't anymore. Then they were supposed to come back in January for to start shooting again. And we were like, "Oh man, is she even going to come back?" Because she hates vaccines, and she is she's ready to throw that bag straight into the Hudson River, never to be seen again. But it seems that I guess cooler heads prevail. Somebody reminded her that she actually needs money or something because Letitia Wright's back and she's for filming, despite the fact that the filming was supposed to start a week ago. It did not because but like in most jobs around here, COVID made its way into the crew. But they're coming back this week, and Letitia Wright will be there, and presumably she's vaxxed because how the fuck else did she get back to the United States if she wasn't?
Mhm.
And I guess she's ready to play ball again. That's what Kevin Feige says. Um, so yeah. In addition to that, we also hear that Winston Duke, our good man M'Baku, the great ape, he is he's getting a big old pay raise, And apparently that means that M'Baku is going to be a much more important character in this movie than he was in the first.
Thank
Uh,
God.
and lastly, the last little bit about Black Panther 2 is we've heard rumors about, and we heard that I think a Mexican actor, I want to say Tino Huerta, I think I'm saying his name right, well, was cast in an unknown role, but the rumor was he was going to be Namor. And I see once again that there is apparently some evidence, insider information, that he is indeed going to be Namor, and that the plot of this movie centers around a war between Atlantis and Wakanda. So again, these are rumors, but that's what we're hearing. So, all right, that's a bunch of stuff. I know it's a bunch of stuff, Lottie. So one at a time. What's up with Letitia, and is she ready to actually do her fucking job?
Let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you. I'm about to show you a screenplay. Uh, Letitia Wright comes into Kevin Feige's house. Kevin Feige says, "Letitia, are you ready to come and be part of the MCU?" And she says, "Is I will do it as long as I don't have to take the vaccine." Kevin Feige then throws down his napkin and says, You came into my house to eat, and this is how you treat me?" Then he writes a check, slides it over to her, and says, "I will make an offer that you cannot refuse." And Letitia looked at that check and said,
Goddamn, give me that jab. No, I'm just picturing like she's just like I'm just picturing her walking down the road with like a big old like Scrooge McDuck bag of Marvel money on her back, and then she's walking down and she sees a COVID vaccine on the road and just trips and that bag just goes rolling down the road because that's what she was doing, fumbling the
Yep.
bag, and I could just see there's a whole bunch of black actresses around her age ready to scoop that bitch up and take it back for six.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
See, oh, they were ready. They were ready.
Oh
They
yeah.
saw that shit rolling. They were about to take that bitch back for six. So you, I was seeing people. They said the most epic bag fumble in history, and it's
Yep.
real because she's gonna be the star and everything. You gonna fumble the bag like that? But apparently, her mama must have been like, "Bitch, are you real? You for real now?"
Mhm.
Or let's see if I can do it in the British accent. Love, are you for real? She's like, bitch, get that it's get them dollars. That's what she said. So
Yeah.
man, so she came back correct. Good for her. I guess money does encourage people to do all sorts of things. Um, yeah, because I was just gonna be like, bitch, don't fuck up my most anticipated superhero movie of the year. Please don't. That's
Yep.
don't do that. uh, as far as M'Baku though, my dog Winston do getting a pay raise. What's up with that, man?
He deserves it, man. He deserves it. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like I know. Everybody. I love Black Panther. I love Black Panther. I loved Damn, I'm trying to remember the other character. God, Killmonger. I love Killmonger. You know, I loved those characters, but man, something about M'Baku just he spoke to me. Man, it's like I'm Nigerian. If anybody if you know, if anybody listening doesn't know this, I am Nigerian, and I just felt like this is the most Nigerian man I have ever seen in a superhero movie. I was like, this is exactly how I would act if I felt some type of way. Like I would act exactly like this. Like when I swear, I thought he was Nigerian. I thought the actor was Nigerian. He played it so perfectly. I thought he was Nigerian. And I found out he's from Trinidad. I said, nah, he's Nigerian. Mm-mm,
Honorary.
mm-mm.
He's
Too late.
honorary.
Too late. You lost your Trinidadian citizenship. He is an honorary member of the Nigerian nation. Just God, he deserves it, man. he's turned that character M'Baku into something special, man. And I know he's just a villain in the MCU. I mean, in the comic books, but in the MCU, he could. There's so much more he could be, especially with the passing of the great how am
Chadwick
I
Boseman.
Chadwick Boseman. We need someone else to come in and bring the flair into this movie,
Yeah.
And I'm happy for him. I'm happy for him. He deserves it. He deserves the pay raise, and I hope he just keeps it. He keeps up the good work and keep proving that he is Nigerian and
Yeah.
not Trinidadian. I don't give a damn what y'all say. He's from Nigeria.
I just hope they don't kill him off in this. That's my main thing.
Yeah.
That's my dog right there. Glad, really happy for him. Really, really happy for him. I love M'Baku, and it's clear from from Infinity War and Endgame that he is, you know, he's, he's a leader, and that's the sort of leader that Wakanda needs. So we'll see. That's coming up real soon. As far as Namor, all we got is rumors, man. But if this is what's going down, if it is Atlantis um, versus Wakanda, this shit could get so serious because Atlanteans are super powered all the way around, and Wakandans are not impressed by that shit at all. It's
No.
like not at all. With superpowers, good for you. We have we're basically we're basically as advanced as the Kree what we live on Earth. What do you want?
Yep.
You know. But I mean, is that something you want to see though? Is that the fight you want to see them have?
Of course I do. I mean, who's the only people that actually? There's no nation on Earth that scares the Wakandans.
Yeah, no, there really isn't.
There's no nation really that scares Wakandans. I mean, you have one guy, Doctor Doom, but come on, man. The United States, there's no nation on the earth that scares the Wakandans. So for you to, because now we know the Wakandans are trying to do peace. So the only thing that will make sense for the Black Panther, make another Black Panther movie is to make the is like you said, the Atlanteans, or Black Panther movie is Secret Invasions Part One. That's the only way that
Right.
I could see a compelling Black Panther movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Now,
think. I mean, I hope it's. I mean, I'm assuming it's true because these rumors, if they persist over so long, tend to be true. So I'm hoping that this is actually we're going to get some kind of confirmation on it soon. But I mean, it'll be interesting. They definitely are the only competition. So we shall see. We're going to give you guys an update once we get more information.
hmm
A really quick one. Just we talk about costumes and stuff all the time around here. But there was a picture that hit the internet, courtesy of Leslie Grace, who has been cast as Barbara Gordon, aka Batgirl, for the new Batgirl movie that is coming to HBO Max exclusively. I think probably this year. They just, I mean, they literally started filming. I think this last week for
yeah,
this movie, and so she posted a picture of herself in her costume. So I figured we just look at it and talk about it,
yeah.
right? um, a lot of chatter on the internet about this outfit. Some people are like, oh, it looks like it's the CW or whatever. It's there's a lot of bitching because nerds. You know,
You know what it
apparently,
looks like?
what's that?
It looks like the outfit from Harley Quinn.
You're talking about the animated show? Yeah, because that one is
Yeah.
based on a certain run of comics that were done. I want to say 8 to 10 years ago, something like that. It's based on a very very specific comic run. And it's pretty comics accurate. Let me tell you, the colors in certain places aren't quite right, but it's all leather. Heart.
But
I'm
then
assuming Heart wearing leather. She's got like the if you might even seen it in the Arkham Knight. The Arkham Knights games. It's something like
mhm.
that, but no armor on it, and it's meant to represent a suit she made herself. As far as I understand.
So I have a question. So is this movie supposed to be like a prequel, like her like first starting off as Batgirl, or is it like she's been
I
Batgirl?
I think it's supposed to be her becoming, kind of like in Harley Quinn when
Okay, it
she
makes one
decided to.
hundred percent sense.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
then it makes 100% because we all know the original. She didn't become Batgirl. She was Batgirl before she teamed up with Batman.
hmm
So if you, I hate these fake ass stupid weebs that swear they're comic book buffs, but they say some of the dumbest shit. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. They always say this is not comic book accurate. This is this, this is that. Obviously, you've never read an inch of comic books before ever, because if you did, you would know Batgirl was Batgirl before she teamed up with Batman. God, guys, it's just what that's one of the most frustrating things that I hear all the time with when it comes to video games, comic books. They always want to say,
this isn't
"Oh,
real.
this is not real. This is not comic book accurate." You you guys obviously never even read even word in a comic book, because if you did, you wouldn't say stupid stuff. Like one of the ones that really got me was the this is because this we're on DC, was the Captain Marvel, well, Shazam movie, where they're like, oh, why did he share his powers? He doesn't do that in the comic book. There's the literal first issue of New 52 Captain Marvel comic book. He shares his powers. I was just like, these dudes say some of the dumbest shit, man.
There's some of this, like, before I even started looking at the comments on this, I was like, how many of them are going to be bitching about this? Mind you,
Yeah,
remember, this is just a picture. It's a production still. They do this, they do production stills for, um, to send out to, magazines or online sites, or just to kind of build hype. That's it. Just to show you what's going on, right? We haven't seen it in action. We don't know how long she's going to keep it. We know nothing except that this is a picture of her in a suit, right? So things
hmm,
that look like maybe goofy when you first see them, before they get the sheen of post production, may look
yeah,
kind of goofy. That's just the way it is, man. So this is all, it's silly to get your hair, out of kilter about this before you really see it in action. But beyond that, the a bunch of the bitching just seemed, they're like, it looks like it's something from the CW. It looks like I'm like, you know what? Just shut up. That's my main thing. Like, it's just a preliminary thing. We're gonna see more of it as it moves on. Doesn't have little armor pieces. That's fine. You know, the first Batman 1980 the 89 Batman really didn't have armor either. Theoretically he didn't really have armor either, and she's just kind of running around in her little homemade thing. It'll be fine. I think personally, I think it looks good.
hmm,
I don't. The thing that bugs me about it is really just that Leslie Grace is, she's a fine looking woman and everything like that, and I know she can act. She doesn't look physically like she can kick anybody's ass. That's
yeah,
my thing about it. I don't. The costume is whatever. I think to myself, I don't believe that she beats anybody up. Now, again, this is a picture. I've not seen her move. I'm not seeing any of the action, so I could be 100% wrong about it based on this picture. And that's why when I've made no comments about it other than talking to you right now, that hey, I look at her and I don't believe she can kick anybody's ass. But I'm willing to accept that I'm just could be completely wrong about that because it's just a picture. So
I mean,
maybe,
yes.
yeah. So maybe guys
I'm
chill out. That's all I'm
I mean,
saying.
one thing I do want to say is that I wish in this day and age, when it comes to superhero movies and stuff like this, I wish more of these actors that are getting these roles will take the physical appearance of actually. I'm not saying you have to be a muscle bound person, but to look like you're in good shape, like you actually like, instead of looking like you're wearing a wet blanket with the suit on. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like actually look, like the suit belongs on
Like
you.
in other words, look like Tessa Thompson did when she was showing off those Michelle Obama guns when she's going to be back. Because I look at Tessa Thompson, I'm like, her arms are pretty fucking toned up. She looked like she'll tune you up for real. Like
Hmm.
I'll take that. This like I it doesn't look it. But again, she's covered up, so maybe I just again, it's a picture. It's
Yeah, it's just
that's
a
it. It's
picture.
just a picture. That's so let's not freak out about it, nerds. It's not, yeah. If you're freaking out
Yeah.
about it, chill. It'll be okay. We'll know some more in a few months. Okay. Anyway, moving on. Um, we got a little. This is just a small little tidbit from the producer of Spider Man Into the Spider Across the Spider Verse Part One, in which he says that every one of the universes represented in Spider Verse are going to have a different art style, and we saw a bit of that in the teaser trailer too when uh, Miles and and Spider-Man 2099 are sort of grappling with each other through portals and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So it's pretty clear that's going to happen. And I, for one, I'm there for it. I can't wait till they go to Spider Ham's dimension and see how fucking weird it is to. It's gonna be like when LeBron James went to the to the Tooniverse,
Yeah.
to find the Looney Tunes. It's gonna be like that, or Spider Man, Spider Man J, the Japanese Spider Man, or the one where I forget the name of the character, but the one with the robot spider, all these different, different looking Spider-Man characters, or Spider-Man Noir. If they don't do Spider-Man Noir, I swear to God, fail. 100% fail. If they don't go to his universe, Across the Spider-Verse is just, huge missed opportunity.
Well, they're going to it because he
Yeah,
was in the first movie. They're
I,
going to
they
it.
need to go. Where they if they've got any damn sense, but they won't do it probably because they can't get the license. But if they could get Lego Marvel, if they could do the Lego Marvel bit, shit, let's go. I would love to see that. The same way, they have the Lego Batman, Lego
Mhm.
Spider Man. Man, come on. There's so
You know,
I love that the freedom that this is going to give to the artist. There's absolute
yeah,
freedom here to kind of interpret Spider Man in various ways.
yeah, I like this too. This reminds me of because Sonic is doing something just like this right now in the comic book. Sega is doing a comic book, and they also partner with this YouTube channel called Mash, where they're doing across the Sonic verse. And Sonic is going to different universes and meeting different Sonic. And the latest one they did is Sonic the Hedgehog Man. So it's a guy. It was a regular human guy who got bit by a radioactive hedgehog. And now he wears basically sort of like Batman, but he has super speed. He can shoot spines out of his body. He's it's like a combination of Spider-Man and Batman story put together. So it was just like, oh, I was just like, damn, that's kind of cool to see, because the same thing. They changed the art style each time Sonic goes from each universe, and that art style looked like a 90s, it looked like a 90s animated superhero show. And
Right.
I liked it. Like I said, it's good to see how they're doing in these movies. You know what I mean? I mean, what they're doing with the movie, and to see what they're doing with the comic book when it comes to expanding, going across the different universes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty excited about this. We just they're just talking about it, so we don't have any actual, visuals on it, but we can speculate, and I can't wait. I'm just Across the Spider Verse, my second most anticipated superhero thing this year.
Yep.
So can't wait to see more about it. We'll let you guys know when we learn some more. And so on to our final bit of news. Excuse me. And this is a lot more serious than other stuff we've been talking about. This is to do with the business of making superhero stuff. And also, it pains me when somebody who I like in as a creator in the industry seems to be doing some shit. You know, this this to me this sucks. But we got to talk about it because we talk about creators' rights and all that other stuff. And we're for creators' rights. And when one creator sort of allegedly does some shady shit, we need to call that out. So we learned this last week that Robert Kirkman and his production company are being sued by a former co-creator of Invincible. So the context of this is when Invincible was being worked on, um, part of the I guess the contract, I guess the verbal contract or whatever, between Robert Kirkman and the artist that work on it, in this case a colorist who is doing the suing, was, I can't pay you a lot of money, but you'll get a certain percentage of the rights to the character and so forth and so on. And the lawsuit alleges that Kirkman, you know, sort of duped this colorist into signing away his rights to the character, in the interest of making it easier to sell the property for film and whatever other development. So he signs his rights away to this production company, and of course now Invincible is become animated. Amazon's paid money and whatever for it. It's money. Money is exchanged hands. He feels like Kirkman and his lawyers or whatever sort of tricked him out of his rights, and now he's suing for for some kind of compensation. Now here's the twist, or not the twist, but like I guess the wrinkle for anyone who's immediately jumping to Kirkman's defense and like, oh no, he signed away, he's nothing wrong, and you know how fanboys are because they like a guy that made something that they like. You know, before you jump to his defense, he just finished, might be in the last couple years, settling a very similar lawsuit related to The Walking Dead,
Yep.
and which, by the way, The Walking Dead is way more lucrative, um, way more lucrative property than Invincible is, as you can see by all the TV shows and whatever. And
Mhm.
he settled out of court after having been sued for something very similar, right? So one time is like, well, that's maybe it was just a misunderstanding. Two times suggests a pattern of action, right? And I say this as someone who likes Robert Kirkman because I've sort of followed him when he wasn't, this guy that's making all this money on TV and shit, when he was just a comics man. And it's sort of it doesn't sort of, it dismays me to know that a guy that was a struggling comic writer in the first place sort of
Becomes
makes
this.
some moves that are shady, you
Yeah.
know?
Because I would.
Allegedly. Yeah, allegedly.
Yeah. Because I was just about to say, didn't we have a discussion about him going through like him having to fight Claw to get everything that for him to get his rights? Now he's allegedly doing this to other people. Like, come on, man. They always say the person who points the finger the hardest, there's four fingers pointing back at you.
Yeah. It's shit is just, it's fucking disappointing. Cause like, to me, this is just about, treating other people well. Now, whatever, I just, I don't want to say like, oh, Robert Kirkman, he's got this nefarious plan to, steal the rights out from other people so he can't share any money. I don't know that that's true. But
No.
man, that's not good. You get sued twice. You get sued twice. In fact, I say three times because Frank Darabont, who directed and helped develop the first season of The Walking Dead, sued him and AMC also. Right? He he
Hmm.
sued him. Then an artist on The Walking Dead sued him, and then now this is a
Hmm.
colorist on The Walking Dead sued him. This one I'm talking about, like, it becomes a pattern of behavior, and it becomes hard for me to not at least give some credence to what these people are alleging.
Hmm.
That said, we are not lawyers. We don't have all the information. We can't really speculate too much on what actually happened. I think an overall better the thing to talk about is you know how workers within these industries are treated, and trying to make sure that people are treated fairly and that there's nobody screwing anybody over, because there's a lot of money going on here. So much so that I'm pretty sure everyone can fucking eat, right? Everyone can eat. Ain't no need
Yeah.
to be snatching food out of somebody else's mouth, you know?
Yeah.
And fortunately, because of this day and age of superhero dominance, every creator down the line is smart enough to know like they don't sign rights away. They don't make dumbass deals. But this was from like 15 odd years ago, early in the early
Hmm.
2000s, mid 2000s.
Yeah.
So, it wasn't quite the same thing at the time. And I just want, for one, I want this to be resolved in a way that actually is just. That if this guy did get screwed over in this situation, I want him to get, compensated appropriately. And also, if this really is a pattern of behavior on the part of Robert Kirkman, I want him to get help and to stop, right? Because I respect the
Yeah.
shit out of him as a storyteller, creator of story, but I don't respect that business. The way
Hmm.
he conducts business. If that's the way he's conducting business, this is true. I don't respect that at all, and it's going to be very hard for me to continue to support him and the things he does, if that's the way he's going to do business.
Hmm. Yep. Yeah, I completely agree with you, man. I just hate to hear that, because like you said, I love his story, Invincible, and I hate to hear that that the story that I really enjoy, it's a lot of shadiness and stuff goes behind it, because but it's always like a little sombering thing that I always got to remember that unfortunately we live in a this is it's a business, and some people, instead of being happy with their piece of the pie, they want to take more of the pie and they will destroy to get that piece. It's unfortunate that it's like that,
Hmm.
but that's what we live in.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
This we just need to treat creators better. Treat creators better and compensate accordingly. And relate in a related, but not to this particular story, but talking about creators being treated fairly. That I can't even remember the creator's name, but a comic book creator uh, gave a shout out to Neil Gaiman about having now gotten his whole, his compensation for reprints and so forth as a comic creator from Marvel. He's gotten into their system and now he's getting his royalty
Hmm.
checks like he's supposed to,
Yeah.
which is a win, and I celebrate that win. And I really have much respect for Neil Gaiman, who's really been beating this drum constantly over the last year and a half about making sure that Marvel pays like they're supposed to, contractually supposed to. I much respect and I'm happy that he's doing that, but that this needs to be it needs to be more of a rarity that someone's getting screwed and not a normality. And right now it's still normal for people who don't have a big voice and they're not big names in the industry to get screwed by Marvel and Disney uh, with their royalties. So I am hoping and for the day that Marvel just does right
Yeah.
without someone having to like shame them into it. So
Yeah.
we're gonna keep talking about this. I think Marvel must pay. That's the hashtag. I think it's true, and we need to continue to highlight it.
Yep.
So, all right, those are all of our news items for this week. That's a bit more than I was. There's a bit more to it than I was thinking, but either way, what did you guys think about these items? What do you think about what we had to say about it? Get down to the comments. Let us know what you're thinking. You can always hit us up, of course, supernotfunnyshow at gmail.com or at supernotfunnys1 on Twitter. Let us know what you're thinking, or, maybe there's something that we missed and you wanted us to talk about, and we'll check it out. Maybe it'll be on the next show. All right, moving on. It's time for the main event, the main theme of our show, which is frustration to fire. How
Yep.
we would make Eternals better. That's the meme where Drake's like, no, and we want to turn that into a, where he's got the thumbs up for it. So how are we going to do that? In order to know how to make Eternals better, which I think we can both agree, we talked about it. Not that it wasn't bad. It just wasn't like it did not win the way we wanted it to win. It had some
Yeah.
definite, downsides to it. So, in your mind, just real briefly, where did this go wrong? Where did Eternals go wrong? Uh, you know, in your mind?
Eternals. The number one, like the main thing that I feel like, well, the two main things I feel like they could have done way better with this movie was, in my opinion, it was too long and way too much explaining, exposition, trying to tell us every one of these characters who they were and everything. It just went just too much. You know, if you
Hmm.
cut it down just a bit, I feel like this movie could have sliced off 30 to 45 minutes. Just sliced off that and still could have made a compelling hour and 45 minutes. Take out the explaining, less, and add more plot. And if they did that, I feel like this movie could have been so much better because, like I said, the basis of this movie is really good. But the story is just God, just like, man. I don't need to know. Stop going back to Mesopotamia, damn it.
Yeah, the movie, as much as I liked it, it suffered from length because it was explaining. It was doing a lot of exposition, as you said, and in the process of doing exposition, it did not actually do a great job of explaining the characters that well. Like, there's a lot of introducing characters way, at the last minute, so you don't really know them that well, except for a few little cut scenes, if you will. And the another problem is the the bad guys are not really there. Like the deviants are the big bad, but they're not really there. So
Yeah,
you have a situation, and you have a big roster of characters, and you don't you choose to focus on several of them, and but you still are like, but there's these other characters, and we're going to bring them in. They just feel like cameo appearances rather than actual real characters. You don't get enough
yep,
time with any of the characters except Cersei and Sprite and Icarus,
yeah,
and even then, it's just a lot of there's a lot of untold stories going on that as they do try to unravel it. It feels like a big chore that gets away from what supposedly is the main point of the film, which is, oh shit, the deviants, right?
yeah,
And then later, oh shit, the celestial, destroying the world. There's not that becomes an afterthought, and rather than explaining who these people are that you've never seen before, and it's
yep,
unfortunately, it sort of bogs the movie down, in ways that aren't quite compelling. Even though the parts where they do flashback are fun and interesting, but they're like they're like crumbs off of a 12-course meal.
yeah,
They're crumbs off of a 12-course meal. You can see there's a big old meal that would be delicious, and you only get the crumbs off of it, and it's very frustrating. So there's other parts to it that they could be doing better. Like, why the fuck would you introduce Dane Whitman and then just be like, oh, we'll never see you again for the rest of the movie until till the post credit scene? Come on, that's
and
like,
and what was the woman's name? What was the guy you said? What was
oh,
I'm trying to remember.
Ajax. Ajax,
Yeah, Ajax is
Ajax.
only in flashbacks.
Just I mean, I get it. I get what's going on, but yeah, well, but we'll get. But how do you make all of that better? If Eternals, I don't say that I don't like the movie. I do. I just feel like I had a high expectations for it, that it got nowhere close to meeting, and that it was a missed opportunity. And they may have set the Eternals back, so within the MCU quite a bit. Um,
Yep.
so that said, and let's put a caveat here. Clearly, you and I are not we're not filmmakers. We're not real accomplished storytellers or anything like that, right? We just like
Mhm.
stuff. We've seen a lot of superhero stuff. We like some things, and we watched this and we had some ideas about like what would I have preferred to have seen, if we were gonna see the movie that we wanted to see. What would we have preferred? So that's when we say make it better. Don't get on our ass about, oh, if you're so good, why don't you go make it? That's obviously we can't because we're not filmmakers.
If
Uh,
if I could, I would.
yeah,
Trust me.
these are just things if in our mind would have made this a better movie. So I got a list. Lottie, I don't know if you want to add to this list or if you just want to, respond to what I have to say about it.
I mean, I would love to make it like you said. The one of the things that okay, I'm looking at your list now. I would like you said, the big parts of course, making it shorter, less explaining, more plot, make the deviants matter. Of course, yes, make it a two part. You know what I mean? Like the parts that you were as
Yeah.
like I pretty much completely agree with your list. Like I
Well,
am
well,
I
let's start from the top. So,
yeah
and we'll combine the first two. Make it shorter with, and by doing so, less explaining, less exposition and more plot. That's the plot of this. Let's say the plot of Eternals is basically there's these people who have been here since the dawn of civilization, sent by a creator god like being to save them from these, extraterrestrial predators. Okay, in the process of so doing, they eliminate them, and then they're like, and then what? And then they sort of go their separate ways. All the shit in the Marvel universe happens. Thanos comes back. Thanos happens. He snaps people away. They come back, and apparently this starts the deviants back to work. But it's really not the deviants. It's really that a celestial is being born. It's going to destroy all life on Earth, and the Eternals have got to learn somehow stop it. So they got to get the band back together. But one of them really doesn't want that to happen, so he murders the leader of the Eternals to try to make sure that the Eternal is born, and they have to fight. And I mean, am I getting it? Am I getting it all? The,
I
so
mean
the
I
so
mean
the deviants aren't important. So in other words, the deviants not only aren't they important, they aren't even like a factor in this.
yeah,
The
they're
main,
not even.
yeah,
And what's so crazy about all of this is that you could somewhat think that the deviants sort of knew what was going on. Like they
he
were
he
the
did.
first
The guy that he
because
literally said he knew
but
because
that's the thing. But I'm talking about even in ancient times when they started going like, you know, we're gonna start killing these people, culling half the population so these things won't wake up. So it makes you think that they always knew about it,
well,
which would have been very nice to add into the story.
well, they didn't really learn about it until they absorbed Ajax.
Well, to the
But
no, but
so
that's what I'm saying. But what made? But this is the question that they put in the movie, but they refused to answer. Why did the deviants go rogue? They didn't just
yeah,
go
it's
rogue
because well,
because
their explanation is that they evolved.
I would have liked it better.
Erisham created them, and they evolved into like just being straight up predators, not selective predators. And then they
Which
got
is
they got
stupid to me.
loose. Yeah,
Which is stupid to me. Which it would have I would have liked it better that they were the first that the deviants are actually celestials that quote
or
unquote
Eternals
changed.
rather. Yeah, well,
Well, Eternals,
in the comics,
Eternals,
Deviants and Eternals are essentially two sides of the same coin, and they've just kind of been at war with each other. I don't mind. The thing is about the Deviants, I don't mind their existence as it is. The problem is that if you're going to present them, at least to people that don't know about the story, you're going to present them as the bad guys. They're the foe that you're facing off against. Make them actually be that,
yeah,
because in this they're like, oh shit, we got it, and you fight a deviant like three times in the jungle. That one time in London, we don't get to see anything they're doing. They're not, apparently there's no intelligence behind them, but there is. Like they don't matter. That's the thing about the
yeah,
deviants. The only thing they exist to do in there is to be a red herring for the whole
yeah,
story. And
and
and,
just to
and
pi-
you
and
know
just to piss off the
to
main characters.
to be a fall guy for Icarus's plan and to kill Gilgamesh. That's it. There's like
Yeah,
they are completely in a universe, a superhero universe full of villains that fail to really live up to any kind of promise. They are the worst of the villains because
yeah,
they don't really do anything.
yeah,
So, in my mind, to make this movie better, is to actually make them real villains. Make them real villains that are actually doing shit, that are causing problems, that are being, going around the earth. They're supposed to be wantonly slaughtering people, right? Why aren't they doing it? There's
It could
there
have
are
been,
there are 7 billion people on the planet Earth as of 2023 within the MCU. 7.5 billion people on Earth. Why aren't
and
they?
they're not even getting. And you're think about it. You're right. They were only going after the Eternals, which, damn, now you that
Yeah, and
is
and
one
and we
hundred.
and
I
we
didn't,
we know why they're doing it because they want to level themselves up. They kill them, they take their power, they want to level up. Why aren't they killing everybody? That's what that's
but
what that's what deviants are supposed to be doing. You know, that's to me make them actually a legitimate threat. Make them a threat, an Avengers level threat, because then
and they could have made that.
because the Eternals are Avengers essentially in terms of their
Yeah,
powers and their abilities. Make them Avengers level.
yeah,
So you spend a lot of the time is spent reminiscing about the past and stuff and not fighting the threat. If
yeah,
I were making this better, I would make the deviants actually matter. Make them actually matter. And in fact, and they absolutely wasted Bill Skarsgård. Pennywise, by the way. Pennywise from the new the new It movies. Wasted him as the voice and the voice mocap of Crow. You don't even that's the thing. Did you even know that was the name of the fucking bad guy? Did you know that was the
that
name of
was the name.
that's the name of the leader of the deviants? You don't know because they are a non-factor.
Yeah,
And it
they're
and it's
absolute
and it's
non-factor.
ridiculous. It is absolutely I get them being a red herring, but they should at least exist as some kind of threat. It's absolutely not wasn't a good call. So make the deviants better.
Yeah, and like you said, I would have liked it definitely more if they would have like. It's like you said, they could have made that dude into like an anime villain where he's like he's the one who basically told them everything that Irisham is doing. Like he said, do you even know who you are fighting for?
I would have been, I'd have been cool with if they had made him into like, you remember in the Matrix Reloaded, the Merovingian? He's like, I know what really the fuck is going on. Y'all are in the dark, and
Yeah,
I'm gonna do my bad guy thing over here. I'd love that, but this,
yeah,
yeah, I don't want to go over that too much, but yeah, just fix the deviance is the deal. Um, on the same note, so we said making it shorter, cutting out all of that, all the explainer, flashback scenes, because the flashback scenes they're nice and I actually enjoy them, but I don't think that they serve. They're just trying to explain these guys are badass. Well, you know what the best way to show me that a superhero is badass? Have him do something badass in the present. It
yeah.
was cool seeing Icarus do his Superman shit in the present. Let's have some more of that. You know, don't show me how he was kicking ass in the past. Show me how he's kicking ass in the present. You can just you can just do like in every other all these other movies where they're just like, oh, you remember that time when so and so did that really badass thing back in the day, and then just leave it there because I don't have to
Yeah.
be explained to me. Just say the shit
I,
happened.
I would have I would have liked it so much if like I'm trying to remember what was the Black Eternal again? What was his name?
Fastos,
Yeah, asked us if he was
fat no
like
Fastos.
Fastos. If they would have had Fastos just show him like randomly like dropping notes or something to like the geniuses in the Marvel universe, like when Tony Stark was trying to figure out time travel, like Fastos just like randomly dropped a note and he was just
Yeah,
like, wait, what? Huh? Makes sense, or like was he
that the arc
uh uh
reactor would have been
the
good.
arc reactor just dropped. He was just like, you know what I mean? Like he's the reason why a lot of these people. Because of course he is black. He could have been the
I got
person who started the Wakandans. Would have been perfect. Would have been a perfect explanation. You know what I mean? Just said, the Wakandans. Oh yeah, like he knows Black Panther's great super great ancestor. You know what I mean? Like, oh, he
yeah.
he was my best friend.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
the thing is like all of these. that it's not that the flashbacks were bad. I just wonder what was the utility in telling the story, I guess. Yeah, you're humanizing them. Yeah, you're explaining like, oh, why do they care about humanity, et cetera, et cetera. But I don't think it. In many ways, sometimes they don't really serve very well. I mean, they show you like this is why the Eternals broke up. I mean, I guess so. That's great. I just feel like it lengthened the movie and didn't necessarily move the story forward. And
Yep.
and this actually has something to do with my next, my idea about how to actually improve this, which is to instead of trying to do this all in one big movie, make it a two-part movie. Make it Eternals 1 and Eternals 2, right? Then
Hmm.
it's not such a big deal that you're sort of doing flashback stuff because you spread them over two movies, right? First part, once you make the deviants better and actually more of a threat, something that actually needs to be dealt with, specifically to focus on them, then that's the first movie. Dealing with them, and then at the end of the first movie, you defeat Crow and the deviants, and he's like, you think I was the problem? I was trying to help you motherfuckers out because once we're gone, we were trying to keep we were trying to get everything the population down, but now y'all done fucked up the celestials that are coming. And they're like, "What?" Or
And then
as you like to say, "Nani?"
Nani, Nani. And you know
And
what would
then
have been perfect? It
or
would have been.
it's like in Mario. It's like thanks Mario, but the princess is in another castle. That's pretty much the way it would be, right?
Or it would have been like the Devil May Cry thing, where they after they beat the deviants, uh Icarus goes like, "Look at this world, it's so beautiful. I can't wait until the Celestial blows this planet up." What?
Yeah, and then of course, once they defeat the deviants, of course, and Icarus is keeping up his little front. He's like, seriously though, I'm the bad guy. And then,
Yeah, oh yeah, he just kills, he just like stabs. That would have been the perfect time to kill Ajax. Right then and there.
yeah,
Like at the
exactly.
end, like when that happens, they're like they're like trying to talk to Icarus and he just laser beams he just does his eye laser right through Ajax's heart.
Yeah, and then all right, then that's the set off for the second one where he's the leading the Eternals that are loyal to the Celestials and the Eternals that are not, and that would have been. So now you start doing the flashbacks to see more about why is Icarus like this. You see some of
Yep.
the stuff that is said rather than done. You know, the set
Yep.
said that we can see that done rather than just seeing it said, and the fight, it becomes, like Captain America Civil War. There's two sides fighting against it. And here's the other
You can
end.
get the humans on your side.
This is where this is another part that where they kind of drop the ball. Bring in the cameos. This is the
Yep.
MCU. I'm sorry. There's no fucking way that you can have world shaking stuff, you know, these big monsters and shit like that, and Bruce Banner isn't like, what the hell? Do I need to Hulk out for this shit?
Yep.
And the Avengers, what's left of them are like, hey, we might need to go check that out. Doctor Strange is like, not on my planet, buddy. You know
I mean,
what?
shoot. I mean, we could just go down the list. Shang-Chi. I
Yes.
mean,
I mean, Shang-Chi. I don't know if maybe he was actually around. So, but there's a whole roster of people, and I refuse to believe that not one of them was like, we need to look into that. I don't
yeah.
believe that. So
Yeah.
they literally have Earth. A fucking celestial is crawling out of the Earth and gets frozen into a gigantic statue. And the best we got is some helicopter being like, that's some shit. That's it. Really, that's it. That's what I'm saying. Like, bring in the cameos. Yes, I get it. You got 173 Eternals that you got to showcase. That's why you have two movies. You can spread it out. Separate them. Bring in a few of the big names to put some legitimacy. Not that this isn't legit, but put some legitimacy into here. Be like, oh yeah, I guess we are in a shared universe where there are other characters. Bring those guys in.
Yeah.
You know?
Cause that's what really bothered me about this whole movie. And like some people who really like stand the movie, they were like telling me, like trying to make sense to me. I'm like, guys, you cannot tell me that the world is about to blow up and not a single superhero showed up. Are they just chilling in their apartments going like, I'm not in the movie, so I'm not showing up.
It's like I need some. It's like I need some Marvel bucks to teleport me over there. In the comics. That's the thing about the MCU. They've got this is actually a problem the MCU generally has to deal with, which is how do you make sense of a universe or a world with lots of superheroes and big shit going on,
Yep.
and only the characters in that movie showing up for it. Like, how do you make sense of that? I get why Spider-Man didn't come help the Eternals. I get that. You
Yes.
know, I
Yeah.
understand that. I even get why Ant-Man wouldn't show up, or
Yep.
I don't get why Falcon wouldn't because he's got the U.S. government on his side. I don't understand why, uh, Doctor Strange wouldn't.
Yep. Doctor Strange, like you said,
I don't
the
understand why. I
Hulk.
don't understand why the sorcerers wouldn't help. I don't
Nope.
understand
Yep.
why Wakanda wouldn't help. I don't understand. Like there's like a bunch of people where I don't get it why they didn't make a priority. Like, okay, that's not good. Especially the
It's
Wakandans. The Wakandans especially should have been on that shit.
exact because, like you said, because because like I said, I was talking about it with my friends, and they were like going like, oh well, how are they be able to get over there? The sorcerers could literally teleport from one side. I said, did you not watch Endgame? Then they
Yeah.
were sending people from other planets.
Yep.
Come on, man, they could get to there in an instant, man.
Yep.
They
And
Nah,
and
there's no
also
excuse.
don't be disrespecting Wakanda like that.
Yeah, exactly,
Oh,
Wakanda.
however will they get it? Because it's Wakanda. That's why.
Exactly.
Cause they got it like that. That's I'm getting heated. It is ridiculous. It's one of the most. This is a movie full of all sorts of outlandish things, but the most ridiculous thing is that no Marvel hero would come to help.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't believe it.
And then, like I just said, it just Arishem just showed up to the planet and just like I know that they don't have enough time to scramble, but I'm just like just showed up and where just Sword just not doing shit because you can't tell me they didn't see that shit.
Yeah,
You cannot tell me
it,
they didn't see that shit.
you bring the cameos in, and they don't have to be big ones, but for that final fight or something like that, and then it's a big fight between the people that are the Eternals that are on the celestial side and the Eternals that are against it that are trying to save Earth. The giant the giant Eternal gets frozen, and then Erishem's not all that sort of stuff. They could have even treated Erishem like Galactus or something like that. This would have been a great time to insinuate the Fantastic Four or there's all sorts of ways you could have brought some fire to it.
I mean, literally, I could.
You could even brought Eros. You could have put him in the end of the first movie, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna help you guys out. I was Thanos' brother. Now he's in the fight.
Yep.
You get your little
And
Avengers West Coast situation going on. There's so much they could have
so
done
much,
there.
and like I'm not lying to you, man. I literally like when that scene happened where Arishem showed up to Earth. I'm just thinking of Sam Jackson on like a megaphone going like, "Hey, what you doing over here in front of Earth?" I can just I was just like like Arishem is threatening the three Eternals. Then all of a sudden you hear, "Hey, hey, you're in private airspace right now, buddy."
It's like
like that's what I was just imagining, and I was just like, they dropped the ball with that one,
that
man.
sounds just like, hey, motherfucker, like you got to call first before you come over here.
You just can't just show up to our planet. Think you can just come over here and put down on us? What's
It's like
wrong with you?
it's like what? It's like what? It's like what does Earth look like? What? Where? It's like what planet you from? What ain't no planet I ever heard of? They speak English or what?
They just dropped the ball because that's what immediately when I saw that I just imagined that, and I was just like, oh, Marvel, why did you drop this?
I
You had it in your
yeah.
hand.
I get it. They look. This is supposed to be a more cinematic, serious sort of deal, and I'm just like, I get it, but damn, they had so much at their fingertips, so many possibilities, and just in the service, they tell. Now, I'll say they told. I mean, they told a good story. I didn't like the way some of it was executed, but I'm not gonna deny it's a damn good looking movie. Um, it's got a definitely a different look than most Marvel movies. I just really kind of wish that there was more to it. I guess the plot. I wanted the plot to be more than this love story between two people, and also one of them's a terrible fucking person. That a terrible person that's willing to kill everybody in order to, you know, to make sure that a celestial's born. I and I did to be fair, I did like the part where they fought at the end and all that. I just wish there was more of it. That's all.
Yeah,
This the thing about superhero things is they can be a character studies and shit like that, but they have to tell a dynamic story wherein some kind of ass kickery is going on. And this
yes,
can't that can't be the ass kicking can't be the accessory. It's got to be, front and center. As because they're superheroes or they're supposed to be, and just kind of you relegating it to just kind of like, oh yeah, I guess we got to do that. That's you're kind of missing something. Again, we aren't experts. We don't make films for a living. We just like this shit, and we feel like there could have been a little more to this
yep.
than we were given. So, in another alternate universe, that's the movie we got. So good for Lottie and Mo in that universe, man. I bet they're like, man, Eternals best movie of the year, but
Yep.
just
While
just
we're over here
just,
going like,
just
what
not
the
in not
fuck?
in not in the Prime universe. Not
Yep.
so anyway, those are our thoughts about Eternals and how to make it better. I don't know. Were we off base, guys? You guys saw it. What did you think about that movie? And, what do you think might have made it better? Get down to the comments. Let us know what you're thinking about. Of course, you can always hit us up, supernotfunnyshow@gmail.com or at supernotfunnys1 on Twitter. Let's chop it up. Of course, yeah, definitely Marvel will pay attention to us, I'm sure. But, it's always fun to talk about these things, and we'd love to talk with you about it there. And you know what? While you are in the clicking mood, why don't you get down there, hit that subscribe button, join the Super Not Funny Show family. We would love to have you as a part of our extended nerd family. And of course, you can always hit that subscribe button, not subscribe button, the notification bell. It lets you know when we drop new content. We're doing reviews and podcasts, all that fun stuff. Check that stuff out. And this show wouldn't work if it was just me. I really need my good friend Lottie to, provide his insight and jokes and all that fun stuff. So, Lottie, why don't you let them know where they can reach you on social media?
Oh yeah, man. You can always find me on my Instagram, which is Anu Kinihun. It's spelled ANUKINIHUN. Again, it's ANUKINIHUN. I upload different videos, pictures onto there of the stuff that I'm working on, and of course, you can always also subscribe to my YouTube channel. I stream at least once a week and I upload videos of different games that I'm playing. So if you ever want to catch a good laugh or watch me get frustrated playing games online, you can you can watch that and have a good time. So yeah, leave a like, comment on any of my videos. I take any type of criticism.
Yeah, you guys go check out Lottie's channel and his social media. Show some love. So, all right, that's episode 34 of the Super Not Funny Show Supercast. That was a good time. I love when we do nerd talk. So we'll try to do a
Yep.
little bit more of that as the year proceeds. But come back next week. Gonna be episode 35. We'll talk a little more Peacemaker, but I'm sure that we got another really good theme to talk about. So until then, I have been Mo de Poupe, your resident fabricant and commentator extraordinaire on all things pop culture, joined by the video game designer, anime expert, and lover of all things superhero, my good friend Lottie. We'll see you guys on the other side of the thread. Peace.
Peace.